I don't understand. Wait, start the fucking stream. Hello. I can see me. What the fuck? Live dashboard. Do we need to start here? Oh, I can see myself. Does this one work? How do we share it? Share? Copy. Does this work? Oh. Does this one work? How do we share it? I think it works. I think it works. I think it works. I think it works. I think this one works. Blah. My gosh, this took some time to figure out. God damn. Hello, humans. It works. Jesus Christ. Sorry about that, guys. Jesus, my first time trying this goddamn fucking OBS. What up, squad? What up, team? Sorry about the weird delay. We're finally here. We're alive. We're alive in the world. I got my fucking vegetable juice right here. My first time setting up OBS, and I have no fucking clue how to do this stuff, so yeah, but it works now, so we're good. What up, everybody? How's everybody doing? I'm in Osaka. I'm a little bit late because I bounced the girl. I'm trying to move the screen because I have two screens here. Yeah, sweet. How's everybody doing? It's a what is it? It's a Thursday, right? Yeah, Thursday evening. Bam. Cool, guys. I want to take some questions. I want to talk about some stuff. I'll probably be on for a while right now, but yeah, it works. Boom. Hearing all the humans saying they hear me, they see me. Unfortunately, my description on YouTube looks really whack. It's like test, live stream. I don't know if I can rename it somewhere, but whatever, everybody. I'm just settled into my place in Osaka. The first thing I bought was a fucking chair. I got a chair. I'm pretty excited. There's like a lot of shit lying around. Like I just live in a room full of cardboard boxes, but it's okay. It's fine. So guys, if you have some questions or something, get them ready. I'm gonna let people kind of load up, kind of join the stream, and say hi. I'm gonna answer a bunch of questions in a little bit. I got some other things I want to talk to as well. A few topics I want to go over. Some things that have been on my mind kind of recently. But definitely, if you have any kind of recent situations that have happened, recent, whatever. I'm still trying to figure out this setup because I've never used this program before. I think I can kind of show my screen, but I don't want to show everything. Display capture. That should be it, but I'm scared. Add new source. Capture cursor. Okay. Yeah. I don't know how this works. Anyways, how is everybody doing? It's Thursday at 11 p.m. Presumably most of you human beings have work if you're non-degenerate, normal office-style humans. I got flaked on today, so that's kind of an interesting initial topic to talk about. I got flaked on, and it was actually a really funny flake, and that's kind of what I would like to show on the screen, but I'm not sure if I can yet. I'm not quite good enough at OBS because I couldn't even get the stream running yet. And this is not even, I don't know if there's multiple versions of OBS or something, but this is Streamlabs OBS is what I'm using right now. I don't know if there's like multiple versions of this or not. I have no idea. Anyway, really funny kind of thing that happened. So all day I was messaging this girl, and we were meant to meet at like 7 p.m. or something, right? Handsome crew, check in. What up, man? Yeah, we were meant to meet at 7 p.m. and here I am thinking she's not gonna show up. Let me see if I can. Does this make sense? Yeah, I can just show it like this. So this is hard to see. Yeah. So like, yeah, we were ready to meet today, right? Yeah, you can kind of see this, I think. We were ready to meet today, basically. Everything was planned to meet today. And you see a woman, yeah, somewhere, yeah. Anyway, basically this was the day before, 2 days ago or something, yesterday. And then today, I'm hitting her up at like, what time is this? This is 2 p.m. and then 5 p.m. and then 7. So first message today is 2 p.m. And I'm telling her where we're going to meet. And the second message, which is at 5 p.m., is like, are you awake? And then the third one, which is a stamp right here, is like 7 p.m., which is when we're supposed to meet. And it's like, what the fuck, right? And then she messaged me. She's like, sorry, like, this is at 7:05 and 7:06. She's like, what? Sorry, I just finished work. I'm going to change clothes, and I'm going to go there now. And I'm like, all right, that's fine, whatever. She's like, I'll be there at 7:50, right? I'm like, okay, and so she's like, where? I'm like, Daimoru, and she's like, okay, I arrived to Daimoru, which is like a department store, right? I'm like, okay, I'm in the toilet, right? I went to the toilet, and she's like, what floor? And I'm like, it's in the basement. And she's like, the second basement? I'm like, the first, whatever, right? And she's like, okay, I'm going to the second basement. And then after this, nothing. Just no response at all, right? And I'm like, I'm here, right? All this other stuff. Weird as fuck, right? Like, so I guess it might seem like the chick is about to arrive. It might seem like something's in the bag, something's gonna happen, but you never really know. You never really know. And sometimes it's kind of like these things happen, and you're like, you might have the temptation to get angry or something, but you gotta have kind of a sense of humor about this stuff, and kind of laugh at the irony of all of the weird and crazy shit that girls do, right? And a lot of them are gonna kind of cancel or flake out rather suddenly and surprisingly, even if they're literally in the same building as you, as this girl apparently was. And do I know what happened to her? I have no idea. Did she meet some guy like me on the escalator in that building? Possibly. Who knows? I think that's probably the most likely idea, really. I'm having trouble imagining some more likely situation, right? Like, it's not like she suddenly got sick or something, right? She suddenly got ill, right? If I think of what happened, literally the most likely thing is that some other dude picked her up, which is okay, it's fine. But yeah, I mean, yeah, maybe her phone did die. That is a possibility for sure. I was kind of standing around that area for a while. I mean, but who knows? Yeah, maybe it is, legit. But it is now 11. We were meant to meet at like 7:50. So if her phone died, then she's still out partying or whatever, right? Yeah, abducted by aliens. Yeah, who knows, man? Smashing someone else. I kind of think she's smashing someone else. I hope she is, man. Like, to be honest, if a girl flakes on me, I hope she's banging someone else at least, right? That's at least a decent... It's kind of funny. I think that's kind of like a decent reason to flake or to cancel. At least you're banging someone else, right? That's all right. I don't think she just got scared at the last minute. It's not like you're going to come all the way and then get to the building and then be like, actually, I'm scared, right? That's not really right. Smashing two guys at the same time. I hope so, man. At least that would be a good story, right? At least I could cosmically be okay with that kind of situation. Loving the hair. Yeah, my hair is like crazy, man. It's all over the place. I kind of want to like buzz it down a bit. Yeah. I had that happen, and the girl messaged me the next day. She left her phone somewhere. Meeting her again Saturday. Yeah, man. Like, I mean, that could be the case, or she could have just gotten pulled and banged. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I guess it's kind of funny because once you game enough, and once you realize how like kind of weirdly flaky these girls are and how much their plans change, like just on a whim, just based on what they're doing at that particular moment, the less you kind of trust these girls, right? Like, so, it's fine, right? I don't really blame them for it, right? But at the same time, I don't really trust them either. So, it's fine. Like, yeah, maybe they say they got sick suddenly or they had to go home and fetch their dog or something, right? Like, or, they left their phone somewhere. It could be the case. It could be the case. Could be the case. It also could be the case that, she just got pulled and banged before you could get there. I mean, I know I've been on the other side of that, which is why, right, it's been kind of crazy, right? Because I've been on the flip side. I've met girls who are literally 100% about to meet a guy, and then I meet them and pull them off of their plan. So it's hard to know, exactly what what happens. What you never 100% know what was the truth, right? I think that's one thing that you kind of have to be kind of okay with in the end, is not really knowing 100% what the truth was about whatever situation it was, right? Yeah, maybe their flake was real, maybe it wasn't. You can't really fully know the truth no matter how much you try, so just kind of have a sense of humor about it and like accept the fact that, yeah, she didn't show up this time, so what, right? I know it's hard, especially if it happens multiple times in a row. Yeah. I'm going to try to forward this to some other random chats. Get some other chats going here. What do we got? Boom. 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 Meet up with the girl in Shinji or Shibs. I tell them to wait for me in the second floor of Starbucks. Nampa dudes ain't there. Girls ask me why I asked them to wait there. Yeah, I mean, that's actually a pretty good strategy, right? Like, you want them to, you want them to meet you in some place where they're not going to just get picked up, actually, right? It's kind of a big deal because it's a non-zero possibility. You know what I mean? Like, it's like a thing that happens regularly, right? Like, especially if they don't know you that much. Like, maybe they're coming to meet you just because they didn't have that much else to do, or if you don't have that strong of a connection with them, if they don't really want to meet you, yeah, if they meet some other dude and he's there, he's more real, he's standing in front of them like a real human being, who knows? She might just go with that guy. It's crazy, it's ruthless, it's savage, right? Reminds me of like fucking Planet Earth, where they have this species of fish, and then one just kind of sneaks in. Like, the females look a certain way, and the males are much bigger and stronger, right? And then these a certain type of males look exactly like the females. They disguise themselves basically as the females, right? So they can kind of sneak in and quickly just bang the female and then like leave without the big male noticing, right? It's called sneak copulation, right? And this is something that happens in the animal world, but it's kind of funny, right? Like this idea that like, and it happens with humans too, right? You have guys who raise children that aren't their own or whatever, right? But this idea that you can kind of sneak copulate and hook up with some girl who isn't like yours or whatever, right? and pass the responsibility of rearing the child onto the other guy. But yeah, like there's a lot of these minor areas are better for kind of setting, meeting your girls or whatever. Plop, plop, plop. Not showing in YouTube. It's weird. Still can't figure out why it's not showing up on YouTube. Man, I don't know how this stuff works. So confused. I guess the link works, but like if you do it on YouTube, it doesn't. I'm so weirdly confused. I guess man. So everybody who's watching this right now are people who have been stream now. People who have clicked the link. Oh, unlisted public. There we go. Wait, how do I save it? Public. Save it. Oh, there we go. I'll change the save. Live stream. Q&A. Yeah. Alright. Let's see if that works. And I'm so like it didn't used to be this difficult. Like you used to be able to you used to just be able to use now it works. Yeah, now it works. How do I delete this other one? Don't tell the PC police. Yeah, there we go. Now we're on YouTube. Yeah, alright, sweet. What up, guys? What up? Hopefully we get some random people, random subscribers that aren't in the any of the chats coming in saying hi. Nah. Got some. Oh. Connect. How is Osaka compared to Tokyo? I mean, there's a lot of Chinese people in Nampa anyway. I don't know, man. Like there are a lot of Chinese people, and that is something that. Fucking hell, man. I like it. Like I like Osaka a lot. Like the people, I guess they're a bit friendly, friendlier or something. I'm not sure. And to be honest, I still haven't been here long enough to really fully tell exactly what what the fuck? What is kekkon? I still haven't been here long enough to fully kind of tell. I don't know why my headphones aren't working. Man, nothing is working the first time around this time. I'm trying, you guys. There is no specific theme to this chat. The chat is just me saying hi to the world, to the goddamn world. I almost bounced this Chinese chick. Well, I bounced her a little bit, but she didn't come all the way back. So I'm trying to get these. Yeah, there we go. Does that work? Yeah, does that work? No, not really. Speakers? I don't know. Alright. Do we have some casual music now? Is that casual music? Is that what's happening? I'm trying to get some casual music going on. Osaka having food. When did I get this chair? I got this chair very the phone's music and messages disturb your voice. Yeah, alright, sorry man. I was trying to get the volume correct. Yeah, and I know my line is annoying. I'll close the line to make it not annoying. I got this chair when I moved into this place, which was basically a couple weeks ago. Yeah, a couple weeks ago. Yeah, man. I have literally nothing else. You guys can see my my place here. Let me show this a little bit. I got here to next to a table, a tiny futon, and that's about it. That's it. Like that's my spot. That's it. That's it. We got the Packy Squad. Packy Squad represent. That's where I smashed. That's where I smashed the little thing. Yeah, if you notice, it's like a double. It's like a double futon, like folded over, so it becomes a double bed size. So there's there's enough space right there. There is enough space. How do you smash on a futon without wrecking your knees? The answer is a lot of opiates, and then the next day you just use bandages on your knees because they're bloody. Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, I don't know, like, you switch up the positions and stuff, you don't only hit it on doggy or whatever, because that's a little difficult. Yeah, doggy kills. It does. It's not a lie. You can do it for a little bit, I like kind of like sleeping. I don't know what you even call it, like sleeping doggy or whatever, like doggy, but the girl is just kind of like laid down a bit. That's a good position. Yeah, laid down a bit more, not quite all up on her knees or whatever. Yeah, so how is Osaka? Osaka is good, man. Like, Osaka is cool. I'm still getting used to it. Like, I live pretty close to Namba, and Namba's cool, but there's a ton of foreigners. There's a lot of gaijin, a lot of Chinese people, for better, for worse. So mostly for worse, to be honest, if I'm being perfectly honest. And I did say it was a non-PC stream. That was the original title of this one, but it did get changed. But anyway, yeah, mostly for worse. I mean, like, there's a lot of tourists. It's okay though. Like I said, I'm still getting used to it. In Tokyo, I've been there for so long, so I know, there's like Ebisu, there's Hiro and Roppongi and Azabu, and those are like kind of the classy areas. And then you have like Shibuya, Shinjuku, those are more Japanese areas, and you have some place like Ikebukuro, which is like much more, I don't know, ratchet or whatever. And you have the whole other side, which is like a whole different kind of thing. So there's like a lot of areas, and I kind of know what they all mean and know what they all stand for, right? Whereas in Osaka here so far, I mostly just feel like there's Umeda, which is great. Umeda is great. And then there's Namba and Shinsaibashi, which are a lot of tourists, and I don't fully know where the kind of like the sort of classy area is or where the artsy area is, right? There's Amemura, which is kind of nice, but I feel like there's not as many areas, and maybe I just haven't fully explored. But in Tokyo, I feel like there's at least like 6, 7, 8, 10 kind of like station type areas, which all have their separate vibes, right? Whereas in Osaka, I feel like it's either Umeda / Kitashinji or Minami, right? Namba and Shinsaibashi, right? So that's kind of it, right? Like, I don't feel like there's much of a in between or anything like that, or there's not like as many distinct areas with their distinct flavors, if that makes any sense. But I'm, again, I don't really know that much about this area, about Osaka, so I'm kind of excited to try out more areas, see what's happening in all these other areas, right? HEP 5, yeah, HEP 5 is great. HEP 5 is awesome. Umeda is great. If anybody's coming here for a short period of time, I would say just stay only in Umeda. You don't even need to go to Namba, unless you like nightlife or something like that. I mostly chose to live near Namba because I just like night workers or kabas and that sort of thing. So I'd like to eventually get around to meeting them and hooking up with them, having them come over late at night. But at the same time, I don't know, like, I'm a little more tired, a little more lazy these days. I don't like going out until the late hours of the morning as much, right? I like to sleep at a somewhat reasonable hour and wake up at a somewhat reasonable hour, at least during the daytime. I don't like to go to sleep when it's light out, you know what I mean? Clubs in Tokyo are better, I guess. Yeah, that's true. I think, yeah. Clubs in Tokyo are better. I mean, there's some good clubs here in Osaka as well. Yes, as you see, so course, yeah. Yeah, so I was just showing guys who showed up earlier. I was showing this hilarious flake who was in the exact same building as me and then decided to not show up. But who knows? Who knows what happened? You have a sense of humor, right? And then on the way back here, I was going to start the stream a little earlier. I was going to try to figure out, what the settings for this were, but I couldn't really figure them out that quickly. But I bounced this girl. She was actually a Chinese tourist. Bounced her a few blocks in this direction, but even from when I met her, she was trying to be like, I gotta go home, it's 10. Chinese people go home at 10. I was like, okay, whatever. Yeah. But you live to fight another day. Tomorrow it's Friday, so I need to go pretty hard this weekend because I had a couple girls who were regulars who I thought I kind of liked, but I don't know. I sort of cut them free. I cut them loose. They weren't really exactly acting in a way that I particularly liked, so I just let them go. I didn't really want them around that much longer. Do you find Chinese girls to be more flighty than Japanese? Flighty? I presume you mean like sort of running away. Not particularly, no. I think Japanese girls run away a lot, actually. Chinese, I feel like they're pretty kind of direct about what they want, what they have to say. So they, if they're kind of more willing to sit around and talk about why they will or won't do something. Whereas a Japanese girl would just, like, fucking leave and not explain anything. Right. Do you always go for the bang on the first date? I had a few girls that seemed to insist on waiting until a third date to bang. Actually, like, that's funny that you say that because the past couple dates that I've had, I've not been so aggressive in terms of pulling for the same day lay, right? Specifically, I can think about one girl. When I say that, I say mostly talking about past two dates that I've had. But one girl I met basically far away from my place, right? Sort of experimenting with a little bit more of deliberately not trying to close on the first date. Just to change things up, just to try out how that works. Like, not even making any effort to close. And trying to end the date first, almost, right? So I'm experimenting around with that, and I don't think if you just want to sleep with more girls, that's not the best way to do it, right? I think the best way to generally do it is try to pull on the first date, try to go all the way on the first date. But I'm just experimenting a little bit. Seeing how things go with actively trying to send them home on the first date. I think it's kind of amusing, right? Yeah, but by and large, I think people should try to close on the first date. At least have a plan, direct themselves towards that plan. And the reason for that is just because, like, most guys can't actually. Most guys err on the side of not even pulling the trigger. So, as like a exercise or as like a habit, I think it's good to kind of build the habit of trying to pull all the way, or at least having the intention to do that, right? Leading all the way. And I think most girls, or at least, 60% of girls will happily put out on the first date if it's a guy they like and the lead, like a way that they lead kind of correctly, you know what I mean? Now, that's not to say, like, of those 60%, most of them probably didn't expect to put out, right? When they left their house, they weren't like, oh, yeah, I'm gonna fuck that guy, right? They probably just thought, I'm gonna meet him for dinner and then go home and that's it, right? But, we're not really in the business of meeting their expectations, right? We're in the business of exceeding their expectations, right? In terms of, right, charisma and everything, we don't want to be what they expect us to be, right? We want to be better than that, right? And I think that's kind of like a big point of this all is that you want to do better than your initial image, right? I think this is kind of what trips people up about attractiveness, or when they look at guys and they're like, oh, if I was more good looking, I would do better. If I was white, I would do better, or whatever, right? Whatever it is their insecurity is, they're imagining that that will have some sort of long-lasting effect in the interaction, right? Whereas in reality, most of these kind of skin-deep, superficial characteristics about you that you can't really change they do have an effect, but that effect is very short-lived, right? You know, it's like if you jump into a onsen, if you jump into a hot spring, right? At first it feels hot, but you know, after about 30 seconds, you're like, yeah, it's normal, right? So it's kind of the same thing with chicks, right? Like first, maybe if you're like super model good looking, you talk to a girl in the club, she's gonna be happy and smiling, you know, right? So other guys who don't have those model good looks look at that guy and they say, it must be so easy for him, right? But what they don't see is the fact that, yeah, you know, maybe those first 15, 20 seconds are easier. Maybe she smiles, right, when you open, right? But what is the net change, right? What is the change value over the course of the interaction, right? So if you look amazing, you look like a superstar model, but your conversation is whack and your game is whack, and you're not a leader, you don't have that dad frame, right? The drop off, right, makes you look like a retard, right? It makes you look a total scrub, right? Contrast that to the flip side, right? Whereas if you're some little tiny troll, right, like a literal troll, right, maybe the first 15, 20, 30 seconds she hates you, she's like, fuck this guy, right, he's not on my level, right? But because of your persistence, because of your savagery, because of your game, you exceed that expectation, right? And I think it's that kind of, I don't know, like that delta or whatever, like that net change is so powerful, right? So that's kind of why I think if you are a traditionally good-looking guy, that's why I think these kind of like DLVs are so powerful, right? Trying to kind of come in under the radar, come in as like, you know, you don't have to be self-deprecating, but being sort of humble is a good, you know, good thing, right? So I think that's kind of important, is like having that awareness to be able to realize what you come in as, what your initial impression is, compared to, you know, your staying power, as it were, right? Like how good is your game over, you know, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hours, right? A day, right? That's much more important than, you know, what your appearance is in the first 30 seconds. Because that stuff, it's going to have an effect in the first 30 seconds, but it's not after that, basically, right? So the fall off is much bigger for guys who have initial characteristics, right? So like I meet a lot of guys going out clubbing or something who are, you know, straight, legit, like Abercrombie models or something, right? But because they're so good looking, they just kind of, they're not used to talking to girls. They have no game, basically, right? And the drop off, you can see girls' eyes glazing over really quickly from when they initially, right, they meet the guy and they're like, oh my god, I hope he lives up to what I'm expecting him to be, right? Compared to like a couple minutes later and they're like, oh shit, I can't even tolerate this guy, right? So that drop off is big, and it's a bitch, right? And everybody always likes to think that, like, you know, like, oh, I got this, like, I have this characteristic and I wish I was like that guy, right? But you don't really see that guy's struggle, right? You don't see what that guy had to go through. So, you know, we're all on different kind of paths. It's really easy to envy other guys for various characteristics, but I don't think it helps them as much as people think it helps them. Whatever it is you think it is, whether it's Japanese ability, whether it's height, whether it's like being fat versus thin, or, you know, whatever it might be, right? I haven't met that many guys who consistently fuck girls who are way hotter than them. Okay, yeah, I mean, it's definitely a minority, right? Like, it's definitely an anomaly, right? I haven't, most people, you probably haven't met that many people who are like billionaires or something, right? Because it takes work, right? It takes work that most people are not willing to put in, right? Dad frame most of the time doesn't let girls get inside of the home. I try it with a vibe, but once they reach the door, they're like, "What? Where are you taking me to?" What's that? I mean, it's kind of hard to tell from what you wrote here. Dad frame doesn't get girls inside the home. I mean, it should, right? It depends on a lot of things. It depends how far your home is from where you were, where you were originally, right? Like if your home is like a 3-minute walk from where you met the girl, right, or where the date was, then yeah, maybe they might be a little bit surprised, right? Once they reach the door, they're like, "Where are you taking me to?" Yeah, sometimes they will, right? Sometimes they will. It's kind of like a balancing game. Like at a certain point, you want to be like, "Oh, like, yeah, this is my house," right? At a certain point, you have to be straightforward about it, right? But ideally, like, ideally you kind of lead there without directly saying where you're going, right? And just walk in. And if you're like, what is this? Where is this? Where are we going, right? And that's going to happen a lot of the time, right? If they're like, "What is this? Where are we going?" You just be like, "Yeah, we're just going to hang out, listen to music, chill. Yep, come in," right? And just keep walking in, right? So it's kind of like about your reactions from how, your reactions based on her objections, right? When she objects, how do you react to that? Because she's going to be watching you very closely, right? If you're feeling apologetic, if you're worried, if you're like, kind of intimidated by her objection, or if you feel not secure in what you're doing, right? If you're like a little bit ashamed about bringing her to your house, she's going to see that in the tiny twitch in your eye or like the way you say something, right? All the little sub-communications are going to communicate to her that like, "Oh, this guy doesn't actually believe in what he's doing," right? And she's going to be like, "Nah, I'm not going to go with this guy. He doesn't believe this," right? Because he doesn't believe this, that means that most girls don't do this with him, right? So she's not going to go with you, right? It's about your sub-communications and how much you believe in what your actual plan is, right? Your self-confidence, your self-belief in your plan, right? Hey, it's Jason from the chat. Hey, Jason, what's up, man? I'm a 6 to 7 out of 10 on an attractive level. Girls I bang are only over most 7 to 7.5. How do I consistently bang 8+? I'm looking for a real answer and not the conventional wisdom, right? 6 to 7, how do I bang 8+? Yeah. I mean, like, it's hard, man, because, like, you don't want to, like, think about it as, like, levels, really, right? If you can. And I know that's, like, kind of hard to do on a practical level, right? But, like, you can't think of it as, like, she's, like, a different level from me, or whatever, right? Because, they're obviously not, right? They're just, like, random chicks, right? But it's tricky. It depends. You gotta think about where you meet them, what kind of girls you're meeting, right? If you're meeting girls through nightlife or in, like, high-level situations, right? And by high-level situations, I mean situations where they're meeting a lot of other guys as well, right? Then you're kind of putting yourself at a little bit of a disadvantage anyway, because, if you're whatever in a bar or in a club, or if you're at her chaba, right, or whatever, and that's where you're meeting these girls, well, yeah, maybe you flashed on her, maybe you showed her a cool lifestyle, but so is the next guy and the next guy and the next guy, right? So, and maybe that buys you a few seconds or something, but it still doesn't change the starting position with which you come to her, right? Yeah, but a lot of these, what happens with these girls, it's hard to tell without seeing you, when you approach, when you game, right? But a lot of what it is with not hooking up with the highest quality is, number one, access. It's just hard to access those kinds of girls. If you access a lot of them and you're talking to a lot of them and you're not pulling them, then there's definitely something to be improved, right? But if you don't even talk to that many of them and you're not pulling them, then how how do you expect to fool them if you're not talking to them anyway? So, yeah, I mean, yeah, as Daisuke said, yeah, approach more for sure, right? Approach more in different situations, right? But also, you know, they're not really that different, right? So just make sure that your own mental entitlement is there, right? Because if you in the back of your mind you're thinking this girl's an 8, this girl's a 9, right? I can't fuck this up, right? Then you're gonna fuck it up, right? It's the same as if some guy posts in the chat, he's like, I really like this girl, I hope I close her, right? You're like, this guy's never gonna close her, right? Because he posted her picture, right? That's actually one thing, is like there's the curse, right? I don't know if you guys know about this, but the curse is basically if you post a picture of a girl that you haven't slept with, right? Now, why is it a curse? It's a curse because it means that you want validation for having met that girl, right? And you're building her up in your own mind, right? So who does it affect? It just affects yourself, right? It's just a symptom of the fact that you want that girl more than you maybe should, right? You want that girl enough to show it to your friends, right? So what does that mean? That means that probably you're not going to get her, right? I mean, just psychologically speaking, right? So that's what the curse is about. Daza. Thanks. Hello from Chiba. Keep up your work. What up, man? Diego. What up, man? From Chiba. Approach more 8s. Yep. You need to approach more and only hot girls. Yeah, for sure. Thoughts on Tinder? I've been having a hard time on there, but I use it as a supplement when I'm not gaming the streets with my mentor. Yeah, I mean, Tinder, yeah, it's overrated, to be honest. I never get that much from Tinder, to be honest. I actually get almost nothing from Tinder. Nothing worthwhile anyway, right? Almost no matches. Certainly nothing cute. And this is coming from several situations where I've tried, several periods in which I've tried to to do well, right? And on Tinder, at least, just as an experiment, even because I get fed enough from the streets and all that. But sometimes I try it as an experiment. I get almost nothing from Tinder, so take it for what you will. But I think 90 to 95% of the girls on Tinder are competing for about 5% of the guys. And that's about it, right? Great answer and insight. Thanks, man. Fuck, the curse is real. Yeah, for real. It is, man. That's why it exists, is the curse, right? So just like, if you feel the need, like if you think, right, if you think in your mind, I'm so excited to meet this girl on day 2. I really hope I can bang her. She's so my type. The worst is if you're thinking about like, I wish, she's gonna be a reg, she's gonna be a girlfriend, right? That's just as bad too. Even worse sometimes, right? Is if you think about that, right? You think about like, oh, she's gonna be a girlfriend. I'm gonna make her my regular. We're gonna go eat pancakes and stuff, right? If you start thinking about this, building it up too much in your mind, you are never gonna bang that girl, right? You are never gonna bang that girl. I'm a big believer that these girls are psychic, basically, right? So if you care about them that much, if you believe, if you're building them up that much in your mind, it's never gonna happen for you, right? So the best thing you can do is like to almost kind of totally take it off your mind, right? To go meet a bunch of other chicks, because they can feel it, man. I know, like, I'm a believer in science. I'm a scientific man, but and I don't know how to explain it, but it's almost supernatural, man. It is almost supernatural, right? The less you think about a girl, the more likely she is to hit you up. It's weird, but it's true. Guys, you know bang above 8. Because why would she? She has a ridiculous amount of options. Even the top RST guys couldn't get them except this and enjoy 6s and 7s. Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's any reason that, like, if she's above 8, like I don't know, like, why? That kind of assumes that you think that just because you're foreign or you're, like, low value or something, right? I don't think that's really true. I think on average, if you come to Japan, you know nothing about Japan, yeah, you're kind of a little bit low value in society. But just because you're a gaijin doesn't really mean you're low value, right? So I think that's kind of like selling foreigners short in general, right? Yeah, like I get like there's a lot of nerdy guys here, right? I get there's a lot of nerdy, fresh off the boat, otaku guys who, you know, have neck beards and jack off to hentai porn or whatever, right? But there's a lot of cool foreigners here too, and so there's no reason why, you know, girls above an 8 would never bang a gaijin. I mean, Ayumi Hamasaki, which is like the absolute idol of, you know, Gyaru and everything, married a foreigner. So, yeah, I don't really buy that. I don't really buy the idea of, you know, the fact that you should just only accept 6s and 7s. That said, like, you know, like, I think there's something to be said for, like, you know, getting used to the process of pulling girls, right? At the beginning, you should get used to the process of pulling girls, regardless of, you know, what ranking you think they are in your mind. Just, like, enjoy it for the ride, have a little fun with them, find something you like about them. They don't have to be your perfect forever waifu angels, right? Just enjoy it, enjoy the process, get used to the process of pulling them back to your place, get used to escalation, get used to, like, you know, vibing with them, cutting deeper, all that sort of stuff, right? You don't really need to cherish the 8s and 9s and 10s as if they're like an entire different level of humans, right? Do you ever game in Tokyo? Would love to hit the streets with you and learn some more. I game in Tokyo a lot, man. Like I lived there for 7 years. A lot of years, man. Like I game in Tokyo a lot. Not a ton, and you know, I just moved to Osaka, so I'm here for this period in time, but yeah. No tinfoil hat will save you. Be good if Doctor also joins you online. Doctor's suggestions and quotes are deep. Yeah, yes indeed. Dr. Dorian Gray. What it's trying to say is the only time we should put a woman on a pedestal is if you look up her dress. Fair enough, yeah. Getting a sneak peek is good. Not going to lie about that. Not thinking about them so much seems to make it more likely they'll want to contact you, date, yeah, etc. Yep, for sure. Lead with a D, 100%. I watched your video about how to build sexual tension. You talked about some techniques and they make a lot of sense. Can you go deeper into the vibe that leads to the sexual attractive behaviors? So, I mean, cultivate like a voice. Voice tone is big, right? Creating pauses in the conversation, right? So not trying to jump in and fill the conversation immediately, right? Being comfortable with silence. Stating your opinions, even if they're contrary to what she thinks or what she believes, right? In fact, even, you know, deliberately going against what she believes, right? Especially if you have a habit of being a nice guy. That helps a lot, right? Not trying to please her, not trying to agree with her too much, right? Maintaining your own kind of structural integrity, as it were, or maintaining your own kind of your core values and your core beliefs, even in the face of opposition, even in the face of, you know, disbelief or whatever, right? Being a human being with integrity, just like, you know, a ship has integrity, right? It doesn't let water in, right? That's important. If a ship lets water in, it means that, you know, like the structure is not strong, right? So as a human being, as a man, you want to have a strong structure. That means that you have to believe in your beliefs, right? In your values as well, right? And it can be difficult as a foreigner, right? Or as just a dude in front of a girl who, you know, makes you question who you are, right? It makes you wonder about yourself, your own beliefs, all that sort of thing. Because that's what girls do, right? They take, you know, big, strong guys and they shove them back into their head, make them doubt their own beliefs, right? So you got to be able to kind of overcome that kind of, you know, be able to look her back straight in the eye and be like, I'm not fazed by this shit, right? And this is not an act, right? It's about like you can't fake it, right? At the end of the day. A lot of people try to fake it with a lot of different things, a lot of different tactics, a lot of different ways, approaches, but you can't fake the silence that comes between, you know, your eyes and her eyes, right? Either you're comfortable with yourself and who you are and the way you're presenting yourself, or you're not, right? And you're trying to put something on. If you are, not all the girls are gonna know, but the right, you know, the ones who meet enough guys, especially if they meet lots of high value guys, and these are, you know, girls in cabas and that sort of thing. If you meet if they're meeting a lot of high value guys, they're gonna be able to slice right through the bullshit, right? Yeah, 100%. How about get a girl wet vibe? Yeah. Comfortable with silence. I don't want to struggle on. I always feel like I need to keep the conversation going constantly. Told that's a bad thing though by my mentor. I don't know what you mean by mentor, like a business mentor or something. Hit the streets, man. That will help you, will man you up. Can you speak about aura synchronization and how to go by doing that? Aura synchronization. So essentially, like you want to pay attention to the girl's kind of energy level, right? Like is she high energy? Like imagine she's coming out of a party or something, right? She's buzzing, she's excited, right? Like it's her birthday party, right? She's gonna be pretty high energy, right? Or imagine the same girl coming out of like a cafe or a library, right? She's gonna be pretty chill, mellow, right? Okay, so the idea is like when you approach the girl, you have to kind of pay attention to what kind of energy she has, right? What mode is she interacting in, right? Because if she is like super buzzing, high energy, she's got like balloons and she's like popping off, right? Like she's just having fun with her girlfriends, and you come in, you're like, hey, what's up, right? It's not gonna work at all, right? It's like two ships passing in the night, right? They're not even on the same wavelength, right? But on the flip side, if there's some girl that's leaving the library and you come up and you're like, hey, what's up, girl? Yeah, you know, right? She's gonna be like, what the fuck is this guy, right? So at the same time, right, you flip those two approaches, right? You have the girl who just comes out of the library and you're like, oh, yeah, you're just having a coffee here, right? Or you have the other girl who's like coming out of the birthday party, like, yeah, it's time, you got the fucking balloons and shit, what? Right? Then that's kind of how you match like their energy level, right? You gotta look at them, what their movement is like, what their vibe is like, right? And it's not just like come in with the same vibe every time. I guess that's kind of the ultimate takeaway, right? It's like it depends on where you're at and where she's at, right? If you're down here, like you're just chill, right? You're on some opiates or whatever, and she's up here, she's like buzzing, she's cracked out, right? You gotta try to come up at least like part of the way, right? So that she can like kind of relate to you, right? If you stay down here in opiate land and she's up here in like meth land or coke land or whatever, right? You're just never gonna communicate, right? And the flip side is true as well, right? So you gotta realize where she's at, and if you're down here, you gotta kind of move up here, right? And if she's down here and you're up here, you gotta move down, right? And then once you're like at the same kind of similar wavelength, then from there, like if you start down here, you're really chill, and you see this girl who's like hyped up, it's her birthday or whatever, you go up to meet her and you pump yourself up a little bit to meet her. Not so much that it's ingenuine, but just a little bit to kind of get on the same wavelength. From here, then you can guide the interaction, you know, up or down or wherever it is you want to go, right? So that's kind of the basic idea of aura synchronization. Lots of Zainichi Kankokujin down there, and some K salon chicks and working girls too. I recall near Shin Osaka. They knew that hood. Yeah, Shin Osaka, Kita Shinchi. It's a good area. Right. When a guy first approaches, he has to do a lot of work. That's right. At what point do you start reeling back and let her chase you? How do you get her to chase you? Yeah, I mean, like, I'm not sure if this is applicable in Japan. Yeah, because, I mean, a lot of the time they're not gonna chase you, right? Especially in Japan, right? I mean, you can basically, like, until the hook point, they're not gonna chase you, right? So you have to kind of hook them, but at the same time, you can hook them with space, right? It's kind of weird. Like, guys who are beginning or intermediate try to talk a lot and have that cover up the fact that their frame is weak, right? they use more content to cover up their lack of game, essentially, right? Or they think that content equals game, right? Which is not really the case, right? So, girls, the way you flip the script on girls, the way you get them chasing you a bit more, is by using less content and having a stronger frame. I mean, that's kind of really all it is, right? Right, is realizing when you're using content to hide something about yourself, right? Or anything, not just content, but when you're trying to use anything to hide the brutal reality of who you are, right? Then she's not going to chase you, right? Right. So she chases you when you show that you're comfortable 100% with who you are, right? And when you're comfortable with minimalism, and you're like, this is who I am, take it or leave it, right? If she feels like, this guy actually believes that, yeah, she'll start chasing. Or what? Come in with energy? Yeah, sort of. So even more starting to talk to her. Sometimes she seems low level, but after opening she runs hot. Every experience I have to adjust immediately, I guess. She runs hot. Oh, like she starts low and then she gets high energy. Yeah, I mean, that happens to you. Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's all different kinds of chicks, man. Like, that's another thing, is that you can't take too much from them. Like, you can't worry about their IOIs or anything, right? Like, you can't worry about kind of what reaction they're giving you, whether they're, like, seeming really interested in you or seeming, like, kind of scared or intimidated by you or something, right? Because those are not true, they're not like honest signals, right? If you know what I mean, from like from biology, basically, right? So like the fact that a girl is seemingly bored does not mean she's disinterested, right? And on the flip side, the fact that a girl's seemingly super interested and asking you lots of questions does not mean you're gonna bang her right away, right? And a lot of times it's the opposite, right? To the point where, like, if a girl is overly interested in you, she's asking too many questions, I try to just calm her down. I'm like, well, stop, like, relax, like, you're asking too many questions. Calm down, like, be a normal human being. Chill out for a second, right? And yeah, she'll laugh, right? She'll laugh, but she'll also kind of chill out a bit, right? Because what you don't want is you don't want that Justin Bieber effect, right? Meaning you don't want her to like look at you as some object that's like over there, right? Whether that's through the screen or, you know, on TV or something that's super cool and exciting, but ultimately distant, right? Just like Justin Bieber. Like you think about, you know, how many fans he has, or whoever, right? Whatever kind of pop idol dude, right? How many fans he has, right? How many girls who are like, oh my god, I would love to, you know, I would love if he was my boyfriend or something, right? But what, like, if he actually came up and talked to her, what would she do? She would just, you know, shit her pants. She wouldn't be able to, like, actually just be like, she wouldn't be able to relax around him, right? Because he's too foreign, right? He's too distant. He's so cool and so exciting that he's distant, right? So you don't want that, right? So if she's asking you a lot of these questions, like, oh my god, where are you from? Like, oh my god, like, what? You're here for what? And you do this? And how old are you? And can you use chopsticks? If she's asking you all this stuff, just be like, look, calm down, relax. It's not that serious. Like, just chill, right? Right? Yeah, because, like, if she's trying to, like, ask you all these questions as if you're, like, a zoo animal or something, right? It's not good. It's not going to help you sleep with her, right? You might think it's good because it seems like she's really interested in you, but it's not. It's kind of like fool's gold, right? Yeah. So it goes with any girls. When they're asking you a lot of questions, when they're giving you lots of positive indicators of interest or any of that stuff, you should almost think of it as like a bad thing. Not a bad thing, but something you want to diffuse, like a bomb that you want to diffuse, right? Right? So you're just like, just calm down. Just stop talking about this. Look, relax. It's not that serious. Right? I'm comfortable. The comfortable with 100%. Do you mean just loving yourself and not having to rely on women to sustain your emotions? Yeah, I mean 100%, man. Like that is big. If you can do that, I mean that's a huge part of the struggle, right? And it's easy. It's kind of easy to say, right? Yeah, oh, just depend on your own emotions, right? But but man, like it's a lot harder when you're in front of a girl who you find absolutely beautiful, right? Because she will mess with your emotions, right? She will, right? Especially if you're not ready for it. She'll toss you around like a little tiny ship in the ocean, right? Women are powerful, man. Women are powerful. A lot of people think these, little tiny Asian girls, they're meek and submissive and weak or whatever, right? And yeah, maybe they might seem like that, but man, they'll throw a dude around. They will, emotionally, if you're not ready for it. Yep. What would be coach level bang success rate? Or don't care and gotta be out 24/7. I don't really think about success rate because, like think about it this way, right? Like, if I wanted my success rate to be really good, and I only went after girls who had a certain sign, right? Let's say, like, for example, Doc Martens, right? Doc Martens, the shoes, right? Usually indicate that the girl speaks a little bit of English. Not always, but it's like a certain percentage of them will be somewhat interested in foreign things, right? Okay, so let's say I only approach girls with Doc Martens, right? But I fucking hate Doc Martens, right? I'm only doing it because I want to have coach level bang success rate, right? So I approach those girls and I get like fucking 80% whatever approach to bang rate or something, right? But I hate those girls. Does that make me like a pimp or something, or what? Like, or am I whack for that, right? Right. So, like, if I'm worried about my own success rate when I approach, then that nukes everything else for me, right? For the type of girls you like. Yeah, so I actively like girls that dislike foreigners, right? So my success rate is probably lower, to be perfectly honest, than some guy who's going to, international parties all the time, right? Like, legit, if some guy's going to a Roppongi club or hub or an international party, that guy can probably get laid on average more nights than I do, just because I go after girls who don't like foreigners. So, in its own way, I'm sort of shooting myself in the foot, but it's because it's what I want. It's because it's the girls that I want, right? Now, do I think they're for everybody? Not really, right? Like, I don't think those kind of girls that, Gyaru or Kyaba or whatever, I don't think they're really for everybody. In fact, I think most foreigners don't actually and shouldn't really pursue them, right? Because, to be honest, they're not really, like, always the best people, right? And at the same time, they don't, like, you can't really communicate that much with them, right? Like, there's not that much to talk about with them, unless you're, like, really fluent in Japanese culture, right? There's not that much you can even say to them that they would understand, right? So, like, sometimes when I see foreigners who idolize, like, blonde girls or kabas, it's kind of like the dog chasing after the car, right? It's like you wouldn't actually know what to do with it when you caught it, right? Like, you're just literally, like, she's not in your reality. Why are you going after that girl, right? If you, like, look, I think most foreigners would be perfectly happy with, like, a nice, pretty, black-haired girl who's, like, a cabin attendant or, some sort of normal office lady. I think foreigners would be happy with that, most of them, right? Nothing wrong with that, 100%. Right? So you got to figure out kind of what your desire is, right? So I think anytime you're thinking about percentages or success rate, if you can rephrase that into what kind of girls do you really want, right? Right? And then go after them. And then who cares about your success rate, right? Because if you go after them, then you're going to get some of them, right? And even if you only get 1% of the ones you go after, if they're 100% your type, That's way better than getting 90% of the girls who are not at all your type, right? So just because I go after night workers or cabos or girls who dislike gaijin doesn't mean that I think that some or even most or all foreigners should do that, right? In fact, I think it's kind of stupid, to be perfectly honest. If I had to advise foreigners what kind of girls to go after, I'd be like, look, don't waste your time on cabos, man. Like, they're not, the cost performance or whatever is pretty low, right? For most average foreigners, right? Like, don't just, it's not worth it, right? Yeah. What if she's not asking any questions, the implied questions? For example, you tell her you're in a country, you do blah, and she's like, oh, what country are you from? Is that Iowa or not? So don't worry about IOIs. Like, IOIs don't matter. It doesn't matter if she's giving you an IOI or not. Like, what changes, right? Like, think about what you do, right? And what you do is you lead the interaction forward, right? Does that change if she gives you an IOI? No, right? If she gives you an IOI, or if she doesn't give you an IOI, you still lead the interaction forward, right? Like, you still try to bounce her into isolation, right? Basically, IOIs are unreliable, right? They're not data points that you should take into account. Just lead the interaction forward no matter what. I'm a 3, but I want 9s with no effort in skill development or outcome. My limiting mindsets, like the ones asking questions or developing. Any tips or secret techniques? Funny question. Yeah, man, I mean, drop stacks. Like, go to a prostitute. Like, for real, if you're really a 3, you want 9s with no effort, go to a prostitute, man. Like, that's about it. That's about all you're gonna do. I go after girls that elbow me in the ribs when I approach. Yeah, you're probably going after the right girls then, man. That's all I gotta say. I'm a good-looking dude, maybe 8 or 9, but my God, do I struggle with this dating stuff. Thanks to only focusing on college studies and getting honors back in the day. Yeah, it's hard, man. Like, for smart people, to be honest, like, for smart people, it's harder. It's harder, man. I think stupid people are much better at game than smart people, because smart people tend to over process information, right? Whereas stupid people kind of, like, they're able to numb it out. They're able to numb it out in their own mind. They're able to get over the fact that people are looking at them when they approach, or they're able to ignore the fact that a girl is like whatever, right? Okay. Indicator of interest. IOIs indicator. Yeah, looks can really get you so far. Yeah, that's right. It might be a dumb question, but how do I get more acquainted to modern day Japanese culture if I want to score with blonde girls? Blogs, Instagram. Like, I don't know. Follow Mana Izumi on Instagram. Go read Egg. Go to a net cafe and read all the gal magazines. Understand the difference between tsuke matsuge and matsuge extensions, and understand the different kinds of eyelashes they have, what kind of hair or what kind of nails, like what's a gel nail versus an acrylic nail. And if you don't know, just go ask random girls on the street. Just be like, hey, are those nails gel or are they acrylic, right? And then ask them the difference, right? Think of yourself as like an explorer, like Darwin or something, right? In a new world, and you're trying to figure out like what is happening with all these humans. Like, what the fuck, like, is this stripy creature? Is she different from this like polka dot creature, right? Just imagine like you're like some alien scientist trying to understand things, and like just ask questions of chicks, right? Just be like, what does it mean when you're wearing this? Like, does this take a long time? Does this take money, right? And by having a genuine interest in those things, over time you'll learn that stuff, right? And also, like, yeah, like, pay attention to kind of the popular idols or whatever in those spaces. So if you're specifically interested in blonde girls, like Izumi Mana or like Harutamu or like those kind of famous gal idols, right? like pay attention to them. Like what are they talking about, right? What are they interested in? What do they pay attention to, right? Any Japan-based boot camps coming up soon? All of my boot camps are Japan-based. There'll be one in Osaka probably in the next 2 weeks, and then there will be a pole camp, most likely still finalizing the details, in late July. It's not going to be cheap, but it is going to be ridiculous, because if we get this place that we're looking at, if we get this place, it's literally like a 2-minute walk from Enoshima. Fucking pimp jacuzzi over, like you can see, it's stupid ridiculous. I'm not gonna say too much yet, but I'm really fingers crossed that we get this, because it's gonna be crazy. Spots will be very limited, and it's gonna be probably too expensive for most people. But yeah, stay tuned for that. That's pole camp. That's also not really for kind of beginners. It's basically limited to alumni for the most part. But yeah, around the same time, before I go back to I gotta go back to the U.S. in July, August. There will be also another boot camp in Tokyo. So yeah, and if you're in the chats or subscribed online to my line, then you will get the updates for that as well. Any thoughts on salsa dancing game? Yeah, man, salsa dance, it's easy, man. Like, it's great, right? Like, you share a common interest, you're touching them, you don't really need anything else to approach. Well, what's not to love, man? Like, it's great, it's perfect, it's awesome, if you can find good girls there. Which day game spots has a higher concentration of English-speaking Jap girls? Roppongi, Shibuya, Shinjuku, talking traffic growth volume into account. Roppongi, to be honest, Roppongi and Omotesando, I wouldn't say they speak more English, but they're kind of more worldly a little bit, right? Yeah, if you're looking for mostly English-speaking girls, I would say Roppongi, Omotesando, Ebisu a little bit maybe, and Shibuya as well. Yeah, Roppongi is really good actually for day game. Yeah, and by day game even I mean like evening up until the last train. If you want to get cabas, Roppongi is really nice as well. 6 p.m., 7 p.m., right in front of, Almond and in the station. As well, the behind area, Azabu as well, Uedo line. All of those areas are really good for cabas in Roppongi, although the cabas are not going to be English speaking. But the non-Kaba girls that are around there are going to be English speaking for sure. Yeah. Roppongi's good. I feel like it's gone through waves. I feel like it had a wave of being really bad and sleazy, and I feel like this is on a kind of like an increased wave recently. Whereas Shibuya is like, it's almost becoming the new Roppongi in a lot of ways, right? It's kind of on a weird downturn almost, if you will. Yeah. How much does English matter? How much is English? Doko Kitahorie. Hang on, this girl's like, where the fuck are you? If it's raining, I'll be free tomorrow night. I'm just catching on the messages. This chick might want to come over. Hopefully she'll just come straight to my place. We'll see. Nice. I hit up Roppongi tomorrow. Yeah, like, it's really good, man. Like, if you can go at like 5, like, I think the best time to do day game, to be honest, is like 4 to 6 p.m. before the dinner time, right? Around dinner time, it's like kind of, people have their plans or whatever, but 4 to 6 p.m. is like money, man. It's money. If you guys don't have work, or if you're able to take a day off or whatever, hit that time. It's like the best time of the day, I swear. It's the easiest to SNL, because if chicks are out, they're usually out waiting until 6 or 7 to meet their friends. They have 2 hours. It's a perfect amount of time. Best chicks are out, like all those baby mamas, all those rich girl daddies or whatever, with their working daddies, because that's the whole subsection of society, man. It's like these girls who literally, right, like very beautiful girls, right? A lot of the times they get their whole life paid for them, apartments paid for them, or they live with some guy, some rich dude, right? And guess what? They don't have to work, but what do you think they're doing in the middle of the day? Fuck all, right? But at nighttime, where do you think they are? Locked up in the house, right? So if you want to get really nice chicks, the daytime is a really good place to do it. Some places you can do it. Let's see if I wonder if I can actually get a display capture on. Let's see. Tokyo. No. I'm still trying to figure out how this OBS thing works. Map. Let's try this. Display capturing. Capturing. Done. Window capture. Maybe this one. Window capture. Add new source. Window. Oh yeah. This is good. Yeah, look at this. What the hell? Oh man, what? I'm a genius. I'm a fucking genius. Look at this. All right, cool. What we got here? We got Tokyo. Bam. Let's talk about where. Can I draw on this? I don't think I can. Can I draw on this? Yoga chick come over. Yoga chicks are great. Enjoy that. Love your content, man. Yo, you know stuff. Thanks, man. Lunch break time. Good for line harvesting. 100%. Got your book. Great read on page 40. Yeah, man. Cheers. Hi, brother. Hi, King of Magician. So yeah, so if you want to know where to game in the middle of the day, I'm going to show you guys some kind of like semi-secret spots. Not semi-secret in the sense that they're not quite known. Okay, so this is Shibuya, right? This is the club street, right here, right? This is where Womb is and everything. Man, up in here in the middle of the day is so good. And that means, okay, so this street from the station to 109 up here is good at like 9 a.m., 10 a.m., really good. And that, by the way, I'm talking about weird or off times, like times that people don't normally game, right? Because I'm sure, you know, if you go out on like a 6 p.m., you're going to have plenty of targets. But I'm talking about like special times, right? So between here, Shibuya and 109, this street, this area, 10 a.m. is amazing. Why? All these nail salons, all these beauty salons in 109, clothes, fashion places, all the girls are going to work. Guess what? Shields are way lower, right? Way lower. So 10, 8, 9, 9, 10, somewhere around there is great around here. Same with lunchtime, but a little harder to approach during lunchtime, but still good. Around here, this like Love Hotel area, so good. You know, middle of the day, 1 p.m., 2 p.m., 3 p.m., 4 p.m. in here is really good. Most people are out here. Most gamers are just like standing around here, like up in Senjugai, like mindlessly going in circles. It's good too. It's good too, for sure, especially during busy times. But come out here in the middle of the day, right? Going over to Omotesando area. This area, upper, what is this? Aoyama. Upper Aoyama, super good in the middle of the day. Also Omotesando too, but like around here, there's not a lot of traffic. But if you have fast reactions and you're able to move in quickly, this area is so good. This Aoyama Flower Market is a good place to take girls for dates. But sometimes there's a line. Not if you go in the middle of the day. Yeah. So right in there, upper Aoyama, deep in where the love hotels are, in the middle of the day is what I'm talking about, right? Now we're talking about the Cabba Rush, up until 7 p.m. Whoever likes blondes, coming around the donkey's backside. A lot of people wait around here, right? And it's good. Yeah, it's good. You can still get chicks, but there's like a super high shields, maybe highest in the world, east side. Try this backside sometimes. This donkey, and after work too. But a lot of girls come in from this side and stuff, right? And there's no scouts coming this way, right? So it's good to realize like what can't zoom with screen cap. Take a screenshot of the map. Screenshot of the map. This is just Google Maps, man. You want me to take a screenshot of it? I'm not sure how to do it, to be honest, right now. It's just Google Maps, man. Yeah. Cat Street is good, yeah. Cat Street is good. You have any tips for a black man new to Japan? Just in general, or like, I mean, learn Japanese. It's kind of like I don't know about specifically for black dudes, but I mean, learn Japanese is always like top of the list. If you want to go for girls who are predisposed to like you, then I mean, go to hip hop clubs, go to Harlem, go to Roppongi, right? That's gonna be good. Other things, if you're gonna cold approach them, right? Then just tell them from the beginning that you have a job, ideally, right? Because there's a lot of, and if it's like an office job, that helps, right? Because there's a lot of black dudes who work at like clubs or like shoe stores or whatever, like all that sort of stuff. So yeah, I mean, like, just tell them that you have an office job if you can, ideally within the beginning, and that's something that that's something that kind of applies to everybody as well. Is the agenda is important. There we go. The agenda is kind of important, establishing yourself as a normal human being, right? Because you have to realize that when you approach girls, they're gonna kind of get it. They're gonna feel like you're like a blob, like a random fuzzy foreigner, right? Like a gaijin blob. Started off as a joke, but it's actually real, right? Like, it's actually pretty real, right? Like, they're gonna think of you as kind of like an ambiguous, fuzzy, foreign entity, right? Not like actually a human. So what you got to do is you got to overcome that by kind of giving them some information that grounds you in reality, right? So whether or not you're black or whatever, any kind of foreigner, you got to realize that you might be actually like seen as just like some weird alien, right? Like a zoo animal or something, like, right? So it helps to kind of right from the beginning of the interaction to ground yourself in some normal things, right? So like, rather, like, a lot of guys try to impress girls on the beginning of the open or something, right? But some of the things that I like to do is, like, I like to go in with something really normal, right? Like, yo, I'm gonna go buy some nail clippers or something, right? Like, right? What does that tell her, right? Well, it tells her, like, number one, like, you have nails that grow, right? It sounds stupid, and it is stupid, right? But you're not like a scout or something, right? You're not a scout. You're not some dude who's trying to make her do porn or, like, make her work in a night shop or something. And it sounds weird. Like, you would think, there's no way they actually think that that's what I am. But I get this all the time. And girls will ignore you if they think that's what you are, especially if you're approaching it at evening times, right? In high traffic areas. So for any sort of person who's approaching, who's new to Japan, you just gotta tell people, like, kind of, you gotta give them some information that shows them that you're not weird or strange, if that makes sense. And the bar is really low. Like, the bar is so low, right? Like, you can relate pretty simply. Like, you just be like, I just had a hamburger. It was amazing, right? Like, that's so stupid, but it's so easy to do. Anybody can do it, right? And you're not trying to pretend to be anything, which is why it works, right? And same thing, right? Like, being like, I just finished work, right? I was so tired, like, my boss made me stay longer, Anyway, what about you? What are you up to, right? And why is that powerful? It's powerful because it's relatable, right? You're not trying to pretend to be anything you're not, right? And at the same time, they know that you have a job, right? Can you do Roppongi too? Thanks. Roppongi during the daytime. To be honest, I haven't been to Roppongi during the daytime for game all that much. Where are we at? So fun. Here we go. Oh, here we go. So in terms of daytime, this backside is really good. Where is it? Like, back here, there's like a Starbucks somewhere around here. What the hell? Oh, it's here. Yeah, right here. There's a Starbucks. Yeah, this Starbucks is so good. And this street back here right up in here. The backside of Roppongi Hills during the daytime is great. Nighttime too. Nighttime as well. Midtown. Inside Midtown. And in these tunnels are really good too. That's during the middle of the day. During evening, during nighttime, I mean, this street is really good. Almond is what I was talking about. This street is amazing. Right here. A lot of the girls who are cabas are going to come hang out. Like, they're coming over here. Like, most of the cabas are in here. So the girls are going to be coming kind of from the station this way. A lot of them, right? So, yeah, just hang out around here. The downside is that there's a lot of scouts. That's the flip side, right? Is that there's a lot of scouts here. So you could try, and I haven't tried this, but you could try on this side, because I'm sure there's going to be some that come from this side or from this side. Because these, like, wherever there's scouts, there's high shields, but there's also girls who want to come the other direction, right? So that might be something to consider. What do you for work? E-commerce, marketing in general. I'm not going to get into super specifics. Dude, do you actually have a job, or do you just game? Yeah, I do have a job. I would love to just game. I have just gamed for a while. It's good, but you know, it has its gets tiring after a while. I mean, like if you're literally gaming, you know, until whatever 5 a.m. and then, you know, whatever, and it gets tiring. It does get tiring. So I do have, yeah, I do have a job. Job as well as my own thing. How to balance lunch days to a hotel? Walk them to a hotel. I mean, I'm not sure exactly what this question means. Just because, I mean, some guys get a little freaked out because it's the middle of the day and it's, you know, I literally had a friend say, like, that they want to, that they can't have sex when the sun is out. I was like, what does that even mean? This is a dude too. He was like, I can't do it, man. I don't know, right? I was like, what? I don't even understand what that means, but yeah, I don't know, man. Like, just walk them there. Just be like, I want to hang out. You know, look, they say rest. It says rest, R-E-S-T. Let's rest. Let's do that. Just walk them in. You also do, you know, karaoke or net cafe, standard things. You check out that burlesque spot in the pump. It's pretty good. It's not really good for game per se. I mean, maybe you could try to game the chicks there and meet them later, but you know. Alright guys, that's going to do it for me today. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Now that I figured out this crazy streaming software, it's the first time using this, I'll be able to do this somewhat spontaneously in the future. Alright? What do you do when they say, hey, nah? You ignore it, or you just be like, calm down. It's normal. This is Japan, right? Yeah, like, I don't know, don't just change the subject or ignore it or something. Like, don't, it's kind of like all these fake IOIs or whatever. They're not really worth anything. And then judging by your emoji, it seems like you realize that as well. Alright guys, I'm heading out. I'm going to sleep. Have a beautiful night, everybody. Peace out.